Well, welcome back. I'm glad you are still there. Of course, Fadi Umanyala is still in the house. And as I promised today, we have a diplomat also in the house. He's going to tell us why he's here. His name is David Obre. This is UN Habitat Inter-Regional Advisor. Did I get that right, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Karibu sana to Citizen TV Sporty Monday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So let's begin or delve right into it.
Okay.
Last week in UN, during the General Assembly, UN Habitat and the International Olympic Committee did sign some partnership.
Indeed.
Yeah, could you explain what this partnership is about?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to come together with the International Olympic Committee and UN Habitat to look at how we can utilize sport as a driver for sustainable development in cities. So in 2015, the whole world, 193 countries committed to a set of sustainable development goals. This is to remove poverty, alleviate poverty, and to create a better planet for the future, for people to enjoy peace and prosperity. And we see that cities are a driving force for getting these achieved. And it's not just for the mayors and it's not just for the governments to make this happen. It's for all of society to come together to make these goals happen, to make the world more sustainable. And what we see with sport is such a driver for health, but it's a driver for social equality. You can bring anyone, can be a sports person, anybody can engage in sports. So it's a big equalizer of society as well, if people can access opportunities for sport. And what we find in cities is that there are many places, many parts of the city where you can access sport and recreation, and there are other parts that don't. And so people are missing out. So the idea with the Olympic Committee is to map our cities, to identify which places are being left behind, and to invest in facilities to enable more sports and, as a result, better sustainable development outcomes.
Okay. One would ask, or a view would ask, why the choice of IOC? Why not FIFA? Why not any other federation out there?
Well, interestingly, I was at a conference in April, actually in Brisbane. Brisbane is hosting the 2032 Olympic Games, and they want sustainability to be their legacy for those games. So they joined a program that I have in Habitat called SDG Cities, Sustainable Development Goal Cities, because they want to make sure that they're on the right path for sustainable development, for sustainability before 2032. They invited me to a conference where the Olympic Committee is. We talked about this global program, which is in Africa, which is in Asia, which is in Latin America, all over the world. And they said, let's partner. So they came to us, but it's not that we are only seeing the Olympics as the organization for sustainability. We're seeing other entities, other sports movements which are pushing in the same direction, and we're open to working with all of them. Okay.
We've seen the past UN bodies sign these deals. Remember UNICEF with Barcelona. At one point we had Yaya Toure come to Nairobi as a UNEP Goodwill Ambassador. Have you probably picked any of the stellar athletes maybe to drive this campaign?
Well, at the moment we are at early stages, so we'll be very welcoming ambassadors, big sports personalities that are committed to a more sustainable, socially equal future. So we'll be very much welcoming. And of course you have amazing sports people in Kenya.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll be very
Ferdinand in the house.
Of course. It was a pleasure to meet him in the waiting room earlier this morning and to be amongst such accomplished sports people. So we'll be ready to welcome ambassadors for this initiative.
Okay. Maybe the 5 pillars of these are people, planet, prosperity, peace, and of course partnership, which you're talking about. But again, when I looked at this in depth, you are targeting 4 continents to pioneer or pilot this project. And Africa is one of them.
Of course.
Yes. Why the choice of Africa and not Europe?
Well, I think, of course, Europe is welcome as well, but we have to start somewhere. And we really believe there's huge potential in Africa. Africa is urbanizing very fast. It's the most rapidly urbanizing continent in the world. And Habitat is focusing on cities. So getting cities right is so important. So if you want to get cities right, we have to start in Africa. And we really see the potential of sports to drive change, and of course Africa is very committed to sport as well. So we really see the potential in Africa to get this initiative off the ground.
Probably from where I sit, one of the best drivers through to attain this is through tournaments. You've mentioned the Olympic Games, and bringing you closer home in Kenya, you've talked of clean, secure environment, well-planned cities. From where I sit, I don't think Nairobi ticks those boxes, because you look at probably a passing estate in Nairobi, even our kids lack areas where they can even play football.
No, that is indeed a challenge in many places. But you have huge opportunities as well. There are parks, Karua Forest, I'm there most weekends on my mountain bike or running. But there are areas in Nairobi where there's more challenge to access physical recreation opportunities, of course, as there is in most cities. And you know, it's not just about major events. In my country, UK, we really went for park run. Park run is for everyone. There's, you know, and you just turn up on a Sunday morning, whether you're old or young, fit or unfit, and you do your run. And you compare yourself with your previous result, and people are motivated and brings all of society together. But you can't do park run if there's no park nearby. And so we're also mapping cities to look at where are there places where you can do activity, and how do you mobilize, how do you mobilize communities to engage? It's not just the elites, the sports people, but it's how can we bring everybody involved? And the more people that can be involved, the less likely they are to get involved with smoking or to drink or to eat unhealthy foods. When they start looking at their record and wanting to improve their record, they're probably going to improve their health. When they interact with all of society, when they're doing the park run or other community sport events, they're understanding each other better and leading towards a more socially inclusive society.
Okay. Talk of mobilizing communities, of course. Should we look forward to awareness campaigns in the coming days?
We need that, absolutely. It'll start with awareness campaigns. Of course, we're still in the process of selecting the first set of cities. So we're looking at mayors who are committed to working with their communities, to working with making their cities more sustainable, but also seeing the opportunity of engaging with sports clubs and sports communities to make this happen. So we're interested to work with mayors who are proactive.
Okay. Looking at this, the stills running on the screen, of course, that's during the signing of the partnership together, your boss and, of course, IOC President Thomas Bach. How committed are they to this as Olympics?
Absolutely. They're fully committed. In fact, one thing that Thomas Bach said when we signed the commitment, he said that was an Olympic record in itself. It was the fastest time that the IOC had formed a partnership with the United Nations. So there's a huge commitment on both sides to making this happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, Mr. Aubrey, as we wind it up, maybe your rallying call to the viewer, whoever is watching, the sports of lover, your rallying call on this partnership you've just signed.
Yes.
Your rallying message to the viewer?
So our message is that cities is where sustainable development needs to happen. It's for all of society. It's not just for your mayors, it's not just for your ministers, but it's for everyone. The sports community has an extremely important role to make society more healthy, more socially equal, more gender equal, and more peaceful. And we really reach out to the sports community to help us to shift those goals and make them happen, the sustainable development goals.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's Mr. David Aubrey, the United Nations Habitat Inter-Regional Advisor, joining us live here on Sporty Monday after UN Habitat and, of course, IOC signed a deal at UN General Assembly in New York. And now, coming back home, let's go to Lamu, where the vibrant